Alright guys, welcome back. This is ESL 1 Katowice 2018, powered by Intel. This is the South American Closed Qualifiers. This game is Gorillaz-Pride versus Team South. Team South taking the victory of game number 1 with a very scary Timbersaw and then a very scary Shadow Fiend. But I'm your caster Moxie. I'm casting this with Forge Dota today, and we're on to game number 2.
That game 1 looked so good for Team South the first 15 minutes. And then G-Pride, basically Sexy Man on that Juggernaut looked so good for the next 30 minutes, right up until 5 minutes before the game, where they took one team fight as a 5-on-5, thinking, okay, our Jug is online. We have our 6 slots. We have all of the things we need. We have Aegis. We can take the 5-man, and then we win the game. But by that point, Timbersaw was basically just a distraction that they had spent the entire game building up as this menace. And meanwhile, in the back, you've just got Shadow Fiend chucking out snowballs and doing a ridiculous amount of damage. So well played by Team South to take that, because I actually was really worried that the Juggernaut was going to be proved to be too strong.
Well, they were putting up a good showing, you had this Jug, fights would be breaking out, but he would realize, okay, I can do a lot more if I actually just do some split pushing. If I can take this tower, then TP in, get some kills, because Team South was having a very difficult time going high, or not going high ground, but breaking high ground, I guess is the better way to put it, because, you've got a Timbersaw who's going to be able to absorb a lot of damage, but at the same time, you only have that Shadow Fiend who's dishing out that physical damage over onto the towers with the rest of their lineup. So, he would take out a tower mid, TP back, or he'd actually be in their base. He took out a tower and a half a Rax by himself, forcing TPs, and of course they didn't have great catch for him, so he was able to just TP himself out almost every single time. And, it was looking pretty good for Gorillaz. They were kind of found a formula that was working for them, but at the end of the day, Team South, they saw the opening, they took it, and they just fully ran with it, so... Very interesting game of Dota indeed. Did not see those 30 Bloodstone charges on the Timbersaw as Forge predicted. I predicted 20. Ended up being a lot lower, but in the grand scheme of things, I mean, Team South, they got that victory. I don't think they really care.
Yeah, Bloodstone charges mean nothing compared to the big old W. So, I mean, the Timbersaw was just such an excellent distraction. He was so just tanky and unkillable and doing so much damage in the early game that every single fight, as soon as he showed up, all eyes went to him. They did everything they could to possibly kill the Timbersaw. And Shadow Fiend, on the flip side, had such a rough early game that they were like, yeah, okay, it's a Shadow Fiend, but he's not that scary. We shut him down pretty hard. But even after the laning phase, I was looking at the net worths, and you would think, based on how many times he had died, that he would be, down near the bottom, near the Brewmaster or something. But he was actually ahead of the Viper, his laning partner, for most of the game, and ended up on top at the end.
Well, Shadow Fiend's one of those heroes that can jungle. You have to keep in mind Brewmaster. First of all, Brewmaster was having a lot of connective issues. He wasn't able to start off laning. Actually, Seven was still disconnected for a good chunk of the beginning. Wasn't able to really get up in personal because they were letting the Tusk do the last hitting because they weren't sure what his status was. So that makes sense why the Shadow Fiend would be able to, keep up in pace with the Viper, who's being very smart. Every time the wave was pushed out, he knew he didn't want to go forward because there would always someone coming to gank him. So he would just retreat to his jungle, clear out some camps, and then return to lane when they come back. But, yeah, they did shut him down really early, but, it came online. That's, a lot of respect gonna get thrown out to Chi-De-Favores here because he had a rough lane and he managed to, find the right way to get himself back in and become an absolute terror towards late game. But we see some classic picks coming out from Team South. I say classic picks when Team South has basically existed for one day before this. But they like their SK and they like their Ancient Apparition. We saw this actually in one of their games yesterday against Gorillaz-Pride. So pretty interested to see if they'll pick something similar. They can't pick up that Enchantress. It's already been banned out. I believe they also ran a Razor and a Death Prophet in that game. But it will be a little scary for the Ancient Apparition here. Night Stalker preys off of squishier supports like that who can't really, save themselves. So he'll have to be very aware during the night cycle. Rubik, though, another pick that we've been seeing a lot of currently, has some nice ultimates that he can try to steal and some nice stuns as well. Again, a little light on stuns coming out from the side of Gorillaz this time around, but once Rubik gets his 6, I'm sure there'll be more to pick and choose from.
I mean, Burrow Strike is one of the best stuns in the game that Rubik can steal. It's like Burrow Strike, Fissure, and then obviously like all the big ultimates and stuff. But in terms of just like level 1 stuns you can grab, Burrow Strike and Fissure are definitely two of the best because they're long range, they do a lot of damage, they do a lot, have a hefty amount of stun. And I mean, Fissure is a little better because you can block it off, but you can hit just so many people with a good Burrow Strike. So I really like the Rubik pick. And of course, Ancient Apparition, if you steal Ice Blast, very big. Ice Vortex, even with a lot of magic damage that comes out from Rubik. A good, you steal Ice Vortex, you drop a couple of them, and all of a sudden that that magic damage that you can get from Null Field, it gets amplified even more. You've got Fade Bolt coming out. So I really like the Rubik pickup, and he's good against just a lot of the meta picks as well. We see the Omni Knight gets banned out, but if Team South wants to grab the Brewmaster this time or something like that, Rubik can have a lot of good spells to steal from that.
And you can see that Gorillaz, they're like, they definitely did this yesterday. Let's take out the Razor. We don't want to deal with that hero again. So that's 2 heroes out of this draft that they've run before that have been banned out from the side of Gorillaz. So it'll be interesting to see if they opt to go with something
I mean,
like
that Bat Rider's still in the pool. That Bat Rider is still there.
Bat Rider wasn't in game number 2 yesterday, though.
He was in game 1.
Yes.
And he didn't get banned last game, and he didn't get banned this game. And I mean, Team South, we talked about it was like 9-0-19 or something they played in game 1, and you would have Epicenter, Lasso, Ice Blast. Whoever you catch is just dead. So I think the Bat Rider could be something to look out for here. It's somebody that still has a nice vision advantage to kind of counter out what the Night Stalker does because you have the flying vision from Firefly, but they're going to grab themselves a Tiny instead.
They pick up the Bat Rider on the side of Gorillaz, and I think that's a pretty smart idea. They don't, again, have that much catch to counter this guy out. And he can pair up fairly early with the Night Stalker once he gets his 6 and start roaming around. But now, like you were saying, it could have been a nice pickup for the side of Team South, and I think it's smart that they did a bit of a denial pick on the side of Gorillaz here. So
my biggest worry is that you have this big, long, ultimate cooldown in the form of the Flaming Lasso, and Tiny, with his massive amounts of status resistance he gets from his ulti, is just going to not care about Lasso. Like, once Tiny hits level 3 Grow, it's going to be like a 1 or 2 second Flaming Lasso from Bat Rider, which messes up a whole lot of stuff. You're going to need multiple Force Staves to get that Tiny as deep as you can before Lasso wears off.
That'll definitely be interesting. We did see that the Omni Knight was banned out earlier as well, coming out from the side of Team South, because they didn't want to have any issues with being able to do that lockdown that they need, but not sure what they're going to pick up here next.
They need some kind of physical damage because Tiny, he still has armor issues, even with the ulti change. And now you've got an Abaddon to even counter out the Bat Rider even more. They need some kind of like heavy burst damage, something like the TA, or like even a Phantom Assassin. But Phantom Assassin's kind of scary here. I think TA is probably their best bet for a mid laner for just heavy amounts of physical burst that they need against this Tiny. He still has heavy armor issues. You get armor from your ulti now, but if you have a Deso and a Meld on the TA, she has the -4 Meld armor reduction at level 20. But instead, actually, another really good pick will be the OD. I'm not sure how Astral Imprisonment works in terms of status resistance, if that changes things, but lots of low intelligence heroes. AA probably the only one that's going to be kind of intelligent, but at the same time he's a squishy support. So I really like this OD pickup from G.Pride.
And that also kind of helps to secure the lane. OD designed to be a lane winner here, and I'm sure after game number 1, where poor Shadow Fiend was just constantly getting ganked and run at and pushed around, this will be nice to have a way to kind of dodge things a little bit and whatnot. So do like the OD pickup, like you said here. So we still need the farming core for this, or not the farming core, but the
hard
Position
carry
1
for
for
G-Pride.
Gorillas here.
They still need a tower hitter. That's the one thing
Yes.
they're really lacking. So the Jug's been banned out. Something
What about a
like
Lycan?
Lycan's not bad. I was actually thinking Terra Blades, but they banned that out on Team South. So Lycan could be pretty good. Lycan's seeing a lot of success in the high
Lycan or
MMR
Luna, maybe?
brackets. Luna,
Luna's
I
a little
think gets
squishy, though.
pressure.
She can get burst down, right?
I think the biggest problem with Luna is that she just gets laned out by Abaddon very easily because she
Yeah.
has such short attack range. Does help out with Rubik's poor base damage to start, and but they don't really have a great way to kill Abaddon lane. I think would be the biggest problem. Lycan, maybe not the best kill opportunities on Abaddon, but even as a melee hero, can at least sustain himself through Feral Impulse and have a potential damage change with Howl. I like the Lycan a little bit more.
Oh, find out soon enough here over on the side of Gorillas. What do you think we should see, though? So you're really liking that TA mid for Team South. Is that kind of what you're hoping to see coming out of there?
I was thinking TA for G-Pride to counter out the Tiny, because stuns aren't going to be as effective. You need just heavy burst damage in the limited amount of time that you have. But they have the OD, that'll be their mid. So for Team South, they still need their mid. Something like the Tinker could be... No, Tinker against Batrider is pretty scary.
They go for the Bloodseeker.
The Bloodseeker.
All right.
So Bloodseeker is actually pretty decent against Abaddon as well, because you can sustain yourself in that lane very easily with Blood Rage. You have the Rupture for the Tiny, and you have the Thirst Vision for Sand King. So I actually really like the Bloodseeker pickup here. The lanes for G-Pride are looking very, very good. Batrider going to be able to do basically whatever he wants as long as he's careful with his Firefly usage. OD should be able to win his mid lane. Something like a Sniper for Team South, though, I think would be the biggest thing. As long as you have Abaddon sitting nearby, you don't have to worry about the Batrider. You don't really have to worry about Night Stalker. I think Sniper is probably...
Yeah, they go for the Tinker instead.
They are going to go for the Tinker. So I first thought this because Tinker's another hero that can lane very well against OD. You have the laser to make sure that you can kind of trade in denies very easily. You might get imprisoned once or twice, but other than that, you can just very easily laser spam him down.
So this is interesting too, looking at the way that they've actually divvied up. It seems like Blank's going to be playing the Tinker, so I think we're going to see a swap of lanes. Tiny will probably be the safe lane farmer. Today was playing mid for most of the games previous to this, so we'll get to see how Blank does here in the mid lane.
Yeah, it should be interesting. I'm a little bit worried about this Tinker pick though, because you have two heroes that give Flying Vision, and a Bloodseeker who gets Thirst. So if you get too low from like spamming Soul Ring by accident, or just being in a team fight, the Bloodseeker is going to very quickly be able to find you. So I'm a little bit worried about this Tinker pick, but if he gets off to a good start from the Ancient Apparition and the Sand King helping out, that could still be very good.
All right, well, let's head into game number 2, and we'll see just how good Blank is here on this Tinker.
Right off the bat, we're going to pause.
Always is a pause. That's how this all works. All right, so I'm interested here.
Got double Fairy Fire on Batrider here, which is interesting.
A little extra damage for last hitting when you're spamming out all of your wonderful sticky napalm over onto the enemy team. I'm pretty sure that we'll be seeing lots of sticks whoever's up against the Batrider. That is so annoying, especially with the turn rate being affected. Ugh. I hate playing against Batriders.
Is that a support life thing, Moxie?
No, that's anyone hates playing against a Batrider who's just spamming sticky napalm on you. It's really awful.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. Tiny should be kind of okay because he can just... You have the toss into Sand... if Sand King comes top, right, you have toss into Burrow Strike with Cold Feet on top. You have lots of stuns, so the Firefly shouldn't be as annoying. But during laning phase, like you said, like Sticky Napalm, very annoying. Ancient Apparition going to have to watch his positioning very careful. Make sure he does not get caught out, because he's just going to die every time. They might actually do something where they throw the Abaddon, whatever lane the Batrider's in, they just throw the Abaddon against it, because as soon as the Sticky Napalm stacks get too high, yeah, you just get the shield off, and then run something like an aggro try against the Bloodseeker. That could actually be a very good move from Team South.
Looks like we're just getting some doodles all over. I thought they were gonna go for maybe a smoke, but they've just started to draw on the minimap here, showing off their artistic skills. I think Gareth was the one who actually was casting a game and started drawing on the map, and I think he got like a little mention on Reddit, just like, oh, he's not just a good caster, he's a pretty good artist as well.
Yeah, he was like drawing a cat or something, wasn't he?
I like cats.
Really? I didn't know that. You like cats? Nah.
I like cats.
I'll never forget. Oh, actually, we're gonna get pause underway.
Thank God.
So never mind. My anecdote is useless. I'll save that one for another time.
Save that for another pause that starts at the beginning of a game, which I'm sure we'll have at some point, but everyone's just kind of headed out here. Looks like they give a ward over to the Bat Rider. Yeah. Make his way over, keep that vision, and
do we have a smoke? No, no smokes. Okay.
Nope.
There are boots on Mr. Night Stalker. Yeah, this seems to be kind of the setup now. You have one team just run up, and they just kind of hang near these two runes that are near each other on both sides, rather than split up the team. I think this is kind of just the way to do it now. Hola.
Oh, man.
Who is that? Is that OD or is that... Yeah, it's OD. So, hola to Chris Brown.
It's like Tiny's gonna get pushed off of his... Man, this is just ping central right now. My goodness. It's like we're... Oh, I like this warding. Oh, I thought he was gonna place it over on the cliff. I like when they place it over on the cliff and they take down the tree. That's one of my,
Oh, yes.
one of my favorite warding spots, depending.
This is good, though, because you'll spot rotations from the supports pretty easily.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes if you cut down the tree, you won't always get the vision into that path, nice and deep into the jungle. So this one ensures that you'll spot any rotations coming around from the south. There's a lot of support. So we'll like make their move through that kind of jungle and then smoke up as they get behind the tower so they can go for the long wrap around.
Already it begins. There's no such thing as a 1v1 mid anymore, Forge. Those days are dead here. Got the two cores kind of fighting each other off over onto the side. You've got the two mids just kind of harassing each other. Laser, you know, Astral Imprisonment. Standard shenanigans.
Tinker's doing very well in this lane, though. 2 and 2. I mean, it's just the first wave, but if he's getting off more denies, already a good start, which is pretty much going to happen every time with Laser, I think.
Feels like there's two different battles going on here in the mid lane instead of like... instead of one assisting to try to like 2v1 someone, it's literally like two 1v1s going on.
I mean, isn't that the best way to do it, though?
Sure.
Because then it's like you're having your own separate battle. Everybody gets to feel included.
Right. Oh, there we go. There's a 2v1 coming out here over onto the Tinker. We'll force him out to go ahead and eat. But top lane looks like they're going to get taken down, but at the same time we lose the Bat Rider. Bat Rider going to get that experience, though, which is something I think he's pretty happy about. A lot of harass coming out. Still in the mid lane here. Moger just constantly poking and prodding over at Tinker. Needs to be careful, though, because he's taken a lot of hits.
Yeah, Moger has to be worried because I don't know if he's spammed the missiles yet, so they might not know exactly what he has, but a surprise missile can definitely catch supports off guard with how much damage you can suddenly do. Looks like he's just been spamming laser, so they might not know what he has.
I don't think they've gone for rockets yet, yeah. Level 2 on Bat Rider here in the top lane. Do you see the cold feet coming out from the Ancient Apparition? We'll slow him down just a little bit. Bandy coming forward. He's looking for the Burrow Strike. Will lose his bounty rune, though. Gets the Burrow Strike off, but doesn't look like Bat Rider particularly cares. He's just going to try to steal his rune instead. Turn around. Oh, there's a chilling touch coming out here. We'll be able to Firefly, try to run himself away, slow them down with a lot of sticky napalm. There's actually 3 strikes over onto Bandy. 4 now. So he needs to be quite careful. If he's not careful, they'll turn back around. He'll go back up over onto the cliffs. He's going to be able to dodge the burrow strike here. There's another hit, but the Cold Feet does proc. They'll follow up with the Avalanche. And one more hit. Batrider just a little too greedy, although I can understand, right? You know, 6 stacks. Pretty good. Mid lane Tinker now also in a lot of trouble. Looks like Chris Barron going to be able to clean up.
Yeah, and as good as Tinker is at annoying OD with the laser, it's also super easy for OD to set up for his supports with the Astral Imprison into Void. And Tinker, once he uses laser, doesn't really have any way to protect himself. I mean, Sand King can like TP in and throw out a stun, but at level 1 Burrow Strike, it's not really going to do too much. This, I mean, I'm really curious to see what this Bloodseeker goes for, though. We saw Sexy Man do like a very, you know, farm-heavy, scale for the late game kind of juggernaut, but I don't really know how much late game you want to go against the. Oh man, there's actually mid lane.
Mid lane again, yeah. We'll be able to get the rockets out. Not quite enough damage, but that laser will be able to clean up. And now Moger, he finds himself a kill. Looks like Sand King, he gets that burrow strike off, but doesn't manage to save his Tinker. So a little bit of back and forth over here in the mid lane. What I would like to see is these supports stacking. Top lane, oh man, look at this Batrider. We'll be able to get the kill over onto Ancient Apparition. Tiny burning down quite a bit. 5 stacks of napalm. Still will be all right though. And it's nighttime. We have a very speedy Night Stalker coming through here with a haste rune on top of that, but there's not much that he can do to this Abaddon at this time. So we'll change his way over into mid. Does kind of wave hello to Bandy as he runs past, but
And I mean, Abaddon.
Rubik?
Okay, he's looking kind of okay. Has to be a little careful.
Shield is fine. Ancient Apparition, though, we talked about this, right? How AA is just an ice cream cone treat for Night Stalkers here. Need to be careful. Nice Avalanche coming out from Today. We'll be able to buy him a little bit more time. Toss comes out here. They'll follow up, and they will be able to get that last hit, though, over onto the AA. And now, looks like Batrider, maybe just a little bit too deep here, gonna get taken down. And that's another kill going over onto Tiny.
I mean, Tiny has to have a good game, and he's getting pressured just so much by this Batrider. Night Stalker now roaming up, and on the flip side, you have Sexy Man, you know, top of CS, top of net worth as well, and he's just going to go for that early fighting build. So switching up the styles from last game, going for more of that aggressive early fighting, which I'm really happy to see. I love Bloodseekers that get involved very quickly. I don't feel like this hero scales quite as well as it did a few patches ago, so he's just going to go for the early SNY and basically hit level 6 and start running around killing things, I think.
No, do you see Bandy standing nearby? Looks like they might want to pull off another gank over onto this OD. They do have the vision. They know. Oh, it's about to go down, actually, so they need to be a little careful. A bit of harass coming out. Sand King standing up over on the high ground is going to move himself forward. I don't think OD saw that there. We'll be able to throw out a little bit of March spam, try to clip him down a bit more. Nice slow coming out as well. They need maybe one more rocket. Oh, no. It looks like Bandy's actually going to get taken down here for this kill. Yeah, he's going to get taken down by the tower, but that's another kill coming out here for Tinker. And well, one step closer towards those boots.
Yeah, that nerf to laser really, really hurts for those kind of early skirmishes. It used to be just a static 14-second cooldown. Now it has the scaling cooldown, so old Tinker, that would have been a much cleaner kill. Sand King doesn't have to die there, but having to wait that extra couple of seconds for the laser does at least give a return kill for OD.
Oh, big burrow strike over here on the side. They found themselves a Rubik, and we'll be able to telekinesis, maybe run himself away. Moger taking a lot of hits here now as well, as Rubik just trying to run himself back. Do have the Night Stalker following up over onto the Sand King. This could be a nice kill for them. They need to just slow him down maybe a little bit. Night Stalker uses that flight. We'll be able to jump ahead. Body blocks just a little bit, but there's a burrow strike coming out from Bandy. They need maybe 1 or 2 more hits here. 1 hit coming out, and it looks like Moger gets himself another kill. 3-0-1. That is exactly how you want to start off your first night cycle.
Yeah, good start for the Night Stalker, and a weird interaction that I saw actually in that engagement too. Sand King got chucked, like tossed in the air, but before he could come down, which is when the damage instance happens for Toss, he got lifted by Rubik. So Toss basically got used for nothing. Not saying it would have turned that engagement around, but just an interesting interaction I noticed there. Could see maybe some kind of misplays happen in the future if that kind of stuff happens. But this Night Stalker, like you said, off to a great start. I think first Night Cycle isn't quite as important for Night Stalker. Like, it's obviously very strong, super important. The second
Oh, Rupture gets used here in the bottom lane. Immediately going to silence up a ban, so he can't use any sort of a shield. Tries to run himself back. It's still just very, very dead. Sexy Man gets a kill with his first Rupture usage, and they actually had a TP that they canceled out here. So it's a big victory here for G.Pride here in this lane. Top lane, again, some action going on with this Bat Rider. He's got his eyes, he's got his lasso over onto Tiny. He's just kind of taking a bath in the Firefly, but there are two supports rather, standing nearby. They'll be able to get that kill, and Tiny gonna be just fine.
Yeah, they did rotate up the Abaddon just in case, but this
maybe
is
get the shield and the heal off just in case.
Yeah.
Tinker?
Mid lane?
Ooh, the Sanity's Eclipse gets dropped, but it's not going to do enough damage to this Tinker, who immediately solves himself up.
That was
Although
very
Moger was thinking about coming in. There's immediately the Burrow Strike coming out over onto the OD. Needs to get himself away. Nice telekinesis. They need maybe one more hit. Abaddon does not even care. He will tank this tower till the end of the days here. We'll be able to go ahead throughout the Astral Imprisonment. Turning back around though, Abaddon, it's actually the shield pop that's going to be able to take him down. So big dive coming out here from the side of Team South with a pretty nice return. Sand King kind of in a little bit of a awkward situation. We'll have to wait for the rest of the team to back out so he can get out of his little hidey hole here.
Yeah, Abaddon hit level 6 in that engagement.
Oh, Night Stalker. Has to pop the Dark just to run himself away here. We'll be able to maybe turn around, do some damage over onto Bandy. They don't have the detection though. So they see him just walk away into the trees. Uh-oh, this little Sand King's in a lot of trouble here. Silence coming out as well. One more hit. And pop goes the Sand King.
Yeah, Hunter in the Night, turns out Flying Vision is still very good. This is a lot of space though for Sexy Man, who's just been farming away. And with this space, he's actually going to completely destroy everything I said earlier, and he's going to go for the Radiance instead. Look to scale up into that late game. And, I mean, Radiance is one of those builds that, as a late game Bloodseeker, is actually pretty good against the Tinker, because as long as you can get on top of him, you can almost guarantee he can't get away. There's like a split second after he rearms that he can still get Blink off, but in a hectic fight, Radiance can definitely be at least an answer to the Tinker. And of course, Rupture on top of all that makes it pretty difficult for Tinker to blink away.
Now we do see a lot of rotation coming down here from the side of Team South. We'll be able to de-ward as well over onto the side. So they know that there's the Sand King there, the Abaddon, and of course the AA. So I think we'll see Sexy Man just back off. There's no reason to fight into that. Just go find some space in the woods and continue farming at this time. How's Blank doing here? Blank's getting closer to those boots to travel. Did grab himself that soul ring.
Yeah, he's gone for the more farm-oriented build because he's getting heavily contested. Still a little bit ahead of the OD, thanks to those rotations.
Don't have any stacks in this jungle for him. In fact, Tiny's just methodically going through and clearing just the regular camps, but I don't think I've seen any supports going in there like AA. Well, they're being aggressive over here. They found themselves Sexy Man. Immediately going to throw out the Cold Feet. Oh, they have the Ice Blast on top of it. That's a dead Bloodseeker.
That was a really, really well executed gank there, and really nice read of the map that you see the OD in the mid, you see Bat Rider, just kind of hanging out top. Rupture's probably not getting set up for a gank just yet because those cores are showing, and they find him in the jungle. Well, good read of the map from them.
Well, if he's not in lane, you know that he's got to be out there farming somewhere. So I think I didn't realize the Ice Blast was online over on the Ancient Apparition. So definitely a good first use of that.
I think he might have gotten it from the camp Bloodseeker was farming, but I could be wrong about that. I didn't quite catch. They also could have just used the tome, but I think he got level 6 from that camp. And Abaddon's actually going to go for the Midas, so Team South definitely want to scale themselves into the late game with this Tinker, spamming out waves, delaying the game as much as possible.
Well, they don't have the greatest solution to this Tinker who's just constantly, if he's going to be pushing out waves, split pushing. You've got a Bat Rider who can wait patiently, but it's not the best setup here. And you have
yeah, they have the answers to kill the Tinker if they're nearby, but in terms of actually like pushing the waves out themselves, they don't really have anybody that can do that. Bloodseeker is going to be able to like spam out Bloodright. OD can kind of use Astral, but as it gets later in the game, it's not going to be enough.
Right, so OD has completed his drums here. He's gonna keep... Everyone's just basically in farming mode, it feels like. Although bottom lane looks like Rubik in for a world of hurt. The shatter damage coming off from the AA will clean him up. And this tower is not long for this world down here in the bot lane.
He tried to steal the shield and walk away, and it almost worked, but unfortunately they just had a little bit too much damage and were able to pop it.
Looks like they're going to try to take this tier 1 instead in the top with Moger and 7 putting out a bit of damage. Here comes Sexy Man, who's going to be able to clean up some of these creeps as well, but bottom tower should go down fairly quickly here. One more hit. It looks like, actually, AA going to get the last hit on that tower. Feels good, man.
Always cheering for the supports, Moxie. In it for the little man.
The struggle is real, man.
Supports need love too, right?
Exactly. TP's coming out here a bad and might not want to be here. Yeah, that is a very, very risky idea here. Gonna get immediately, you know, nuke down with this Firefly. They will run into the Sand King though. Sand King coming up forward. He does have the epicenter here. They'll be able to take down the Night Stalker. There's a steal coming out from Rubik. It is the Burrow Strike. There's gonna be the lasso coming out though from the Bat Rider. He's turned back around. Miniature Ravage over onto this backside here. They'll have to pop their ones. Bloodseeker now in a little bit of trouble. The Sabat sitting very, very low, and he will actually get taken down. Chris Brown will join the fray though. Finds himself a tiny. Meanwhile, the epicenter cleans up over by the Sand King, and Chide is gone.
What a hectic fight. We lose here. We lost Bat Rider.
Look at all the gold that Chris Brown has now.
Yeah, that's 100% worth it for.
Yeah, that's a full
G-Pride
force staff. Full force staff here.
They trade the Bat Rider for the Tiny and the Abaddon. Abaddon forced to use the Rupture and the shield on himself just to deal with, forced to use the Borrow Time and the shield on himself to deal with Rupture. And Bat Rider, he got off lasso. He got everything he wanted. So he's got the drums online, moving towards that Blink Dagger. He should have that around like 18, 20 minutes, depending on how the next few minutes go. And Rubik playing the poverty. Poor Rubik.
Everyone's back, hard at work at farming. We've gotten almost enough for the Sacred Relic for the Bloodseeker here. Looks like he's going to continue with that.
Tinker does have his bots online though, so as soon as he gets that Blink Dagger, that's when the game really kind of starts to change. Bots, Soul Ring, and then as soon as you get the Blink Dagger, that's your 3 timings. And from there, he'll probably move into something like the Kaya or the Aether Lens, and just kind of become this absolute menace that we all know and hate Tinker for, except for me because I'm a terrible mid spammer. Blink Dagger really changes the game because they, like we said already, they don't have a great way to push out these waves. They can't force them out as quickly as teams still can.
Casual scan here. Coming out from the side of the Radiant, I guess. Interesting.
They know Tiny has a Shadow Blade, so
they're
wondering...
probably thinking if he had the... Right.
Yeah.
I feel like how close Bat Rider was, though, to that area that they scanned. Like, he would just be dead anyways. But...
I mean, you got Lasso and Drums, and Tiny has...
Oh no, the burst damage coming out from Tiny is pretty ridiculous, but...
Well, he's only got 2 points in Nava and 3 in Toss, so he's not as terrifying as normal. I think the biggest problem though is he's not there yet.
Eyebrow waggle yet.
Yeah. The biggest thing is the fact that he has 30% bonus status resistance.
Oh, they know he's coming. They saw that he took that haste rune. Look at them all just run away, scattering. OD though.
He's gonna show bottom and might die for it. Nah.
Tinker TPing in. They won't. They're thinking about it, but they actually cancel it out.
The Shadow Blade was running out, so they couldn't get the stun off.
That Rider is thinking about jumping over here onto this Tiny. We'll get the one little bit of that sticky napalm off, but they don't have the detection. Tiny should be able to just walk away from this. No problem.
Rubik desperately trying to forward. Oh.
Top lane epicenter gets used over onto Sexy Man. He's trying to run himself out, but the chase is real here. They will throw the shield out, throw down the Sand King. This looks like this could be a good kill. Moger, though, sitting very low himself, and actually, Bandy going to be able to get that kill, but not quite before he gets taken down by the Bloodseeker himself here.
Oh, Woo. Okay, Woo's okay. Yeah, that was really, really nicely played by the there. The shield onto the
Yeah.
Bloodseeker, 110% saved
Oh
him.
boy. Oh boy. Batrider gets thrown up into the air, followed up with some rockets from Tinker, and he's out of here.
Yeah, and this is where things get just absolutely menacing. Tinker has the blink. Tiny has a Shadow Blade. Anytime you are by yourself, there's a like 50% chance that you die. And if you're not by yourself, that means you're with your team, and you're probably getting 2 lanes of creepers pushed in. And Abaddon scaling up into his own Radiance. So going to be looking to counter out the Radiance of the Bloodseeker with his own Radiance.
Ogre taking a lot of harass here from these rockets. Ugh, I hate those. Not fun to just get rocket spammed here.
And this is kind of what I was saying earlier, right? Like, the first nighttime is always going to be, maybe not always, but usually going to be a good time for Night Stalker. Yeah, but it's really that second nighttime between 12 and 16 that really kind of sets the pace of the game. Because if he runs around then, when the cores are just starting to get their core items, right?
They're looking for Tinker.
Tiny's looking for the Shadow Blade.
Yeah, they're all smoked up here. Batrider, he's looking forward. Oh, he's taking so much damage in all this march. They can't find him. He's over onto the south end here. And they took all that damage for nothing.
Yeah, he's just too mobile. And, oh, top lane.
Oh, they take down Sexy Man again.
Look at how quickly Rupture runs out. Oh my lord. Status resistance. OS Frog, please. He just, like, doesn't even feel Rupture. But by the time he hits level 18, he's gonna get, like, a 10-second Rupture, if anything. Or duration 12, so he'll get, like, a 6-second Rupture. It's crazy.
Taking a look over at our difference in team net worth. A little bit of a lead going to the side of Team South right now. And looks like the experience just a little bit more. A little over 2.5. Rocket's coming out here over onto this Batrider. Will force him just to run himself back. Nighttime gets popped as well by the Night Stalker. So I feel like they really want to grab this Tinker, but they're just not having any luck. They might need Tinker wards. I don't know if they're going to do that.
They need to guess where the Tinker's going to be and just patiently wait there.
Yeah.
And the biggest problem too is that Batrider doesn't have Blink Dagger yet. He's been trying to farm it, but he's getting pulled around the map trying to get these ganks off, trying to find these kills because they know that they're behind. They know that they can't let the Tinker get out of control. But by doing this, they're not giving Batrider the time to get his Blink Dagger and get these kills. So now he's going to farm up some stacks, get his Blink, and then hopefully get the kill back on the Tinker.
Getting closer and closer to that Blink Dagger, though. He's just got to focus on farming, I think, for the next couple minutes. Finish that up, and then maybe join in the fray here. But they need to be careful, because Tiny, of course, is very, very spooky. We'll be able to go use the Rupture on him, but I don't think they really want to dive past this right now. They do have an eye over onto the Sand King. We'll throw out the Silence. They're still giving chase. They pop the drums. Plenty of damage getting thrown out here from the OD. Does steal about 16. And turn around, though. Tiny, though. He's got that Shadow Blade. Just eliminates the Rubik immediately. Chris Brown's going to get obliterated as well. Moger trying to figure out where he's trying to get out. Won't probably be able to survive this. Yeah, one more hit maybe. Oh, yeah. Tinker blinks forward and says, yeah, no, you're mine.
So that was a fight where Tinker doesn't have the next item he's going to get, which... As a support, Moxie, how do you feel about Tinker rushing Dagon in your games?
Oh, Lord. Triggered. Very triggered.
Yeah.
So
this
triggered.
is going... these fights are only, I think, going to get worse, mostly because Bloodseeker, right, wants to just run people down with Radiance, turn on his Blood Rage on himself, and just run people down. Now you're going to have Laser coming out. You're going to have a Dagon just absolutely destroying him. And your answer is like, okay, well, then Bloodseeker dies and you have OD, but OD is just getting shut down so hard. He's got drums and a Hurricane Pike at 21 minutes, has to rush the BKB. Most ODs would much rather get themselves the Blink Dagger first, so they have this super mode advantage in the fights, can zip around, be obnoxious, but he has to get the BKB in order to try and fight.
I do have a smoke up and running over here on the side of Gorillas. They're just combing through the jungle, making sure it's safe. They do find themselves a random ancient apparition. I think he might have been looking at his items or something, but yeah, he's a easy kill for the side of Gorillas. And that's going to go over onto Chris Brown here.
Oh, and Blank finds himself an arcane rune while all that is happening. So I think, and he's got Dagon 1. I think Team South is just going to look to group up, take a huge team fight with arcane rune and Tinker Dagon once the ancient apparition is alive, and just start dominating this game through just sheer kills.
Top tower going to get taken down during all of this, and they've got their eyes on the bottom here for the side of Gorillaz. Just doing a trade, although they are TPing 2 people and 3 people in now. They're looking, immediately the Abaddon comes forward. Big Hurricane Pipes, but they're going to be able to close the gap using the Burrow Strike here. Chris Brown's in so much trouble. He's going to be able to get taken down. They use the Batrider Lasso as they just drag and rupture the Tinker. They've had enough of his nonsense. Turning back around now, Bandy in a lot of trouble trying to get himself out, but the Radiance Burn coming out from this Bloodseeker is probably going to be able to take him down. Jump forward again coming out from the Batrider. Big Ice Blast coming out will land over onto him, but might be able to make it out here. They got the steal though on the Rubik. They throw out the Ice Blast. Should be able to take down the Abaddon. And now Tiny is left, only man standing here, trying to run himself away. And I don't think they have any more detection or will to chase him at this point. That went very, very well for Gorillaz.
Yeah, so they wanted that team fight, right? Tinker had the arcane rune. AA was resurrecting. They wanted the team fight. They wanted to take advantage of their power spike. The problem was that they were TPing in one at a time, whereas all of Gorillaz-Pride was already set up. You had Batriders sitting in the trees. They had the ward on the high ground. They had all of the vision, all of the information they needed. And yeah, they lose OD. It sucks, but Bloodseeker gets a massive influx of gold. He finishes his Mantis tile, so the laser's not going to be as much of a problem. It's a little bit tankier. And he just gets to clean up in that fight. Really
There's
well
a
played.
huge difference here. Looking at the team net worth, they almost went for about a 2,000 team net worth swing, going back up inside for G-Pride, and even more than that for the difference in experience here. And they needed that fight so badly.
That was, I think, Team South maybe not expecting everybody to be there, or maybe a little bit too anxious to fight with the Tinker Dagon, but really nicely played from Gorillaz-Pride to take advantage of the fact that, I mean, by the nature of TPs, Team South was just coming in one by one. And
They have vision over here on the AA. This is pretty scary. If they decide to make a rotation, they'll be able to deward that really easily, though. Tinker also standing nearby just in case, providing the support.
Yep. And there's going to be an Ag queued up on Night Stalker now, so he's going to look to just run this Tinker down. And this is one of the things that I was worried about in the draft.
Oh, Bat. And comes Chide. He's looking. He hasn't quite found him. We'll be able to throw out the Avalanche. They'll throw out a Burrow Strike on top of that. And that's a nice kill going out for Abaddon here.
I've seen so many heroes try and TP out of that spot right there. They're like, I'm just going to run here and hide behind the tree and hope they don't see me.
Just the,
it's such a weird caught out.
The dire jungle prayer.
Yeah.
Please, Lord,
I mean,
let them not see me. Let me have broken their ankles.
Yeah. I have juked them hard enough. They will not see me.
I think you need to drop a mango, right? Drop a mango and offer it as a sacrifice to the ice frog. Maybe that'll help. Let me know how that works. Try it out in your pubs, Forge. Let me know how it works.
I'll try it out in a pub if you let me play mid-conca.
Nope. Nope. We're never going to find out the solution to this now, guys.
Tiny, though. Because Tiny is, I think, the real big problem for G-Pride. I don't know if they have... Like, once he gets BKB, they're going to lasso him, and he's either... One of two things is going to happen. He's either going to just status resist the lasso and not care about it, or he's going to get Abaddon shielded and super not care about it, and then he's just going to pop BKB and be immortal. And I'm a little bit worried about G-Pride's ability to kill him once that BKB comes out. But OD is also looking for his own BKB, so maybe if they get the 10-second BKB at the same time, OD will have the advantage.
Rubik has his own little tree friend now. I don't think I've seen Rubik steal tree yet. That's actually hilarious.
I'm so glad you saw I'm so glad we were looking at the same thing. And he just
That's enough of that. Jeez. Not like Rubik has
was a
attack
terrible
speed, right?
thing to steal. That was great.
Blade Mail's going to
wanna
be the
see
next
that.
item coming up for Abaddon here. Big Ice Blast gets thrown over into the mid lane. They're smoked up. It doesn't
Oh.
actually connect. They do spot each other,
That was
though,
just-
and we get a new steal here. It's going to be the Mist Coil. Tinker immediately TPing in, getting ready, thinking that they're going to fight, especially with that darkness popped. And Bloodseeker's just got his eyes over here on this tower. Jump forward, though. Big burrow strike, and they're going to dive beyond the tower, actually. Tris Brown, he pops the BKB, turns himself around. He's putting off a lot of damage. Immediately just uses that hammer, gets a kill. And now it looks like Tinker's in trouble as well. I believe he was ruptured during that. Moger now finds himself in a corner with a Tiny. Does miss the avalanche, but doesn't matter. Gets smacked in the face. They do manage to take the tower, though, on the side of Gorillaz. They're gonna consider keep going here. There's no Abaddon, there's no Tinker, and there's no Sand King, so they've got to be feeling pretty good about this right now. They only lost that Night Stalker. Immediately followed up with an Ice Blast. Looks like the Force Staff will make it, so they don't quite connect here. Wolfie comes out over onto Bloodstream. BKB gets popped here over onto Cheetah. He's gonna try to find himself out, but there's just too much stuff being thrown at him. They try to body block on top of it. We'll chase him all the way back into his base and then turn around, focus on this tower. Wave currently incoming, so... G-Pride are just taking these really good fights, I feel, lately. Like, they find an opening, they commit to it, and they're managing to get towers out of it, so... Towers
I mean, the main
infill.
thing is that they're finding the Tinker, right?
Yes,
Tinker,
absolutely.
I don't think Tinker can be there set up for the fight. I think he is the one example of a hero that this game specifically needs to show up after the fact, because otherwise, every single time, they're going to use Rupture on him, they're going to use Lasso on him. Now, Batrider has drums and Force Staff, and we saw there, he just dragged the Tinker to his death. There was nothing the Tinker could do. And, I mean, with an Ags coming out from...
Moger runs directly into Tiny, immediately following up with an Ice Blast. We'll connect over onto him here. And there's a big Burrow Strike coming out here. They will get the epicenter off. Wu's in a lot of trouble. Tries to run himself away. Gets the dust off. Lasso coming out, though, and that Rupture just doing so much work when you're being forced with that Rupture and the Lasso. They throw the Abaddon over into a bubble. We'll be able to get the kill over onto Rubik, but now he's on the run. Does get a couple uphill miss chances, but one final Arcane Orb. Gonna be able to eliminate this Abaddon.
And now OD is the terrifying one. Before it was, being worried about the Tiny, but if Tiny is just getting his team killed around him and OD turns on him, OD is just absolutely massive, sitting at plus 56 intelligence skill with the Blood Rage on top. Gonna have to blink dagger soon if that's what he chooses to go for. Could have a Scythe, a Shiva's, whatever he wants. It's going to be a very, very scary game. And now Bloodseeker, because of these two fights, is somehow sitting at the top of the net worth. And he's going, I think, for Lincoln's.
This is super important for Tinker. Tinker's going to get himself a Lincoln's as well, because they have just been finding him with that Lasso and the Rupture and dragging his body across the entire battlefield. I think that's very important, that he picks up something for defensive, because they just find him too easily and eliminate him.
I mean, it's a good idea, but the problem is that Batrider already has Force Staff, so if he has to, he can, and he's quick enough, he can very quickly just pop Lincolns with the Force Staff. If they don't have to, they have Blood Rage, they have Rubik's Steel, they have a lot of things that can pop that Lincolns. And even with this pickup, I don't know if Tinker can live.
I think it gives him a little bit more time to try to correct his positioning with it. It depends on how fast the reflexes are obviously coming out from the side of Gorillaz here.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Definitely,
one of those
like you
things where,
mentioned.
he can live. It's now an option to live, whereas before it's just gonna die almost every time. But it's still not a catch-all solution like it is sometimes against Batrider.
Oh, they have dust. They find Chide over here. He's going to try to TP himself out. Rubik coming forward. He's going to try to get the lift. Does get the telekinesis off just in time here. The BKB is going to palm out from Tiny. He's going to fight himself out. We'll be able to get the kill over onto Night Stalker, and with the Tinker TPing in, manages to turn the fight around. It looks like they're just going to walk away. BKB down on Tidy. I don't think they want to really engage into anything too crazy right now.
And that's 2 BKB charges he's had to use defensively. And that's the other thing too, right? Last 2 BKB charges get used by OD. They get like 2-3 kills off of it. Tiny, he pops 1 charge, he has to just run away. That was his 10-second, and now he pops his 9-second BKB, and he gets a kill on a Night Stalker. It's at least something, but it's not what you want to be using those really early charges for. Once you get down to like 5, 6 seconds, sure, pop BKB and live, because you might as well. But that's not what Tiny wants to be using these early charges for.
I do have a smoke over on the AA here, so we might see them try to go for another play. But they've already smoked up over on the side of the the Radiant here. Big toss coming out over onto the creep, but they're able to get the lasso off over onto Tiny here. We'll be able to go pop that BKB yet again. That could have been a really good Ice Blast, but it's not going to connect here. Chris Brown, again, he's trying to just grab him. He whips the hammer thanks to the Yules over on this AA. And now it looks like Tiny's still trying to get himself away. Does just stand there for a second. I'm not sure if that was a bit of lag. Will get taken down. Looks like Bandy will be able to get a kill over onto this Rubik. Oh no, he didn't see him. He didn't get the clicks off. Looks like Woo going to be able to walk away from this engagement here. Easy peasy. And they'll just re-engage over here. Bloodseeker going to heal up off of these creeps and push their way into the base, most likely. Although Tinker, really hard to fight into with all of that spam. They'll actually just back themselves out. Interesting. So they got the kill on Tiny and the Sand King.
And they didn't lose anybody,
yeah.
which is the key.
Maybe wait for the Roche to come up again. That's a long...
I mean, they have Aegis still.
Yeah, they
that
still
was
have
like
Aegis.
That was a fresh Aegis. So they've got like 2 minutes, I think.
Ooh, Tinker. He's looking for this Night Stalker. Needs to be careful. Blinks himself forward. There's a Rubik standing nearby. Pops the Lincolns immediately. There's an Ice Blast getting thrown down. Does not connect. Lifts out of the teleport. Bat Rider's here. Oh no. This is not what they want to happen to their Tinker.
Yeah, and that's... I mean, he got the Lincolns there, so he actually like almost lived. I was 100% sure he was dead. But he had the Lincolns. He survives for a bit. But they just have so many things that pop Lincolns that even the Void gets wasted. It just lets Rubik do the lift, Burrow Strike to follow up, and it was really good TP from Bat Rider there, making sure that they get the kill on that Tinker. And now they can go high ground. Yeah,
Sexy Man finds himself a Ice Cream Cone. Yules comes out though, buys him a little bit more time. BKB gets popped over onto the Bloodseeker. They'll get the Ice Blast off, lands over onto the OD. We'll try to heal him up a little bit, or rather do some damage. Turn themselves around though. That Blade Mail's doing a lot of work. OD's sitting pretty low. Needs to be careful here. Will turn himself back in, walk around. Mogar in a little bit of trouble here. BKB gets popped over onto Tiny. He'll throw his tree. We'll be able to get that kill. And now Sexy Man, maybe there's just a little bit too many heroes running on top of him right now. Aegis does get popped, but will just respawn, turn themselves around. They get the kill over onto Bandy here and make their way into the base. Now BKB's down on Tiny, BKB's down on the Bloodseeker as well, and on OD, but they're just forcing their way into this base. They know that Tiny's down for, or no, sorry, not Tiny, the Sand King's down for 41 seconds. Tinker's about to be up, so they need to be careful here. Hurricane Pike comes out again. They go ahead, they pop that Blade Mail over onto the Abaddon, so it does a lot of damage. Actually procs his ultimate, and they need one more hit on this tower. Go, creeps, go. Who's going to be the hero?
I don't think the creeps are going to get it.
They are. They got it.
God.
They got it.
I thought the creeps would, I thought the friendly ones would spawn in time, so didn't expect that.
This Yules has done so much saving of this AA, or buying him a little bit more time.
Yeah, good.
Ooh,
it was a really
Arcane
good
Rune.
pickup, especially against the Bat Rider, because if you catch him quick enough, you can if he Yules in, or if he blinks in, grabs your Tinker, you can Yules him up in the air. Unfortunately now, Bat Rider has his own BKB, so that's not going to be really an option anymore. They find a double damage rune for the Bloodseeker.
Yeah, he's definitely going to want to look to do something with this. They've got the Arcane Rune on the Bat Rider as well, so if they can get a lasso off and make extra efficient use of this, it's going to be really good for Gorillaz, especially if they find themselves a Tinker.
Tinker is in the bottom lane. Looks like he's TPing back to base though, so he should be okay. Does Night Stalker have Ags yet? Not quite. So no Ags on Night Stalker. Going to be a little bit of a safe time for the Tinker. I think they want this Tiny though. Tiny, do they have vision?
They've been really singling him out a lot in these fights, and they've been jumping on him first in a lot of them as well, so.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that they've got enough mobility on all of their heroes now. They've got the double force staff, And yeah, the double force staff on this side. So even with that very short duration lasso, they're just pulling him in so deep and so far away from the team with those force staffs that you just can't you can't do anything, because if you jump into the middle of that, by that time your tiny's usually about halfway dead, and they've got BKBs running. Very, very good teamwork and communication coming out from G.Pride to take this game.
A little bit of miscommunication, I think, though. It looks like Abaddon's got a Assault Cuirass queued up, and Tiny does as well. He's already got most of it. So, hope they don't get double.
To the Shivas. Nah, he's going to switch to the Shivas. He's like, hey, are you getting this? No, okay. I'll switch off them. And I think the Shivas, I think, a little bit better anyway, because you want that flying vision to try to counteract what the Night Stalker's doing, as well as what the Bat Rider's doing. So definitely will be a bit better, and as well as slowing down the attack speed of the OD if he doesn't have his BKB up.
We got a Scythe on OD.
Yeah, that's huge. And Eggs is now done for the Night Stalker as well. So they're just going to run around and try and find this Tinker, I think. And Bat Rider might actually get him here.
He definitely knows he's standing here. Oh, the Lincoln pop.
I don't think he...
That just happened.
I don't know if he just got too excited or if he wasn't aware of the Lincoln's pickup, but that was
he has to know about the Lincolns at this point in time. Maybe he just forgot, because he's had that Lincolns forever, it feels like now. So be very surprised if he didn't.
Excited.
Yeah,
it's a bit of a breath of life though for the Tinker. It's going to give him a lot of space to, I think he knows Lasso's down now for at least a little bit. I'm just not sure what needs to happen here to get Team South back in there.
Oh, they found themselves a Night Stalker, though. Big Ice Blast coming in. Trying to be able to maybe run if they throw the Ancient Apparition at him. And they'll go ahead, they'll pop BKB over on Sexy Man again. He's just trying to fight off Tiny, but there's a lot of damage coming out. Toss will get thrown as well. They do have sentries, multiple sentries actually. The Epicenter comes out, trying to still get that kill. We'll be able to take down the Sand King. He heals up a little bit, and over on this back end here, looks like Chris Brown, he's looking. He will go ahead. There's going to be the BKB popping over onto the Bat Rider with the lasso. They get the cleanup, and looks like there's no buyback on the Tiny. Triple kill coming out for the side of Chris Brown. Abaddon going to have to buy himself back here. It's the only buyback, though, so this is definitely the time for Gorillaz to get in there. And Tinker's going to try to just spam out as much as he can. Again, the Lincolns gets popped. There's going to be the Scythe, though, coming out. Chris Brown, he sees him. He wants to get this kill. He doesn't want to let this Tinker spam out and push them out here. He'll be able to get the laser. And still, Bloodseeker, he really wants this kill. He'll turn himself around. I don't think he wants to run into that wall, though. Will try to run himself back. They place a nice deep ward. And the rest of Team South pushed back into their well here. Dagon comes out. Sexy Man standing very, very low. Chris Brown still just wailing away here. There's going to be the BKB coming out. Just try to finish up that last bit of Rax. And looks like Gorillaz are going to be on... Oh, the force staff! Oh, that would have been so bad for him. Dagon coming out again over on Chris Brown. He's actually going to pop his own BKB. He doesn't have a TP. He has no drum charges left. This is going to be a long run home for him. I think he realizes that he's not going to make it out, though.
I mean, I'll trade my OD's Wicked 6 streak for a Barracks against a Tinker who was
That's
alive.
also BKB charges, too. They just lost.
Yeah. I mean, Tiny's down to 5 seconds now. And I think... Yeah, that's it. He's the only BKB that they have. I almost wonder if Tinker wants his own, but if he does that, he's going to have to sacrifice some of his damage, or at the very least his soul ring. But he just needs some way to stay alive in these fights.
Yeah, that's a problem. These BKBs got picked up so early on as well. The only person that's got significant time left on it is actually the Bat Rider here. And they need to be very careful. They're kind of combing through the jungle. It is just the two Oh, no, there's going to be a haste drone. I was going to say the two supports were very, very far forward. They might have been able to do something here, but here comes the cavalry.
Tiny's running forward.
Finds himself a Bloodseeker. This could be really good for them if they're able to take him down. BKBs get popped on both sides here. It looks like Rubik going to just get obliterated by this Tinker, and Sexy Man's going to be able to run himself out. Tinker's going to just TP out as well as they force them out. Oh, they got the OD. When did they get the OD?
OD's been dead since...
He was still dead?
Okay. Yeah, he was still dead. He just is level 25 and has a very
long cooldown. Roche is up, though, right into the pit.
They do scan this out, though.
They don't have Rubik. OD's going to be up fairly soon, though. Yeah, Bat might be thinking about getting a little cheeky here with this play. Has the blink, has the force staff. Just keeps throwing out that sticky napalm. But it looks like Bandy does find him over here. They'll be able to go ahead, throw out the Yules, throw out the stun as well. And any hopes of snatching, I think, are going to be gone. Although he's still alive. Will try to back himself out. Chris Brown doing so much work here. Does get the kill over onto the Sand King. Turning back around. He needs to get this Tinker. Can he get him? No, the blink comes out. Turns himself back around. Gets the kill over onto the Abad. And now they're chasing down this poor little ice cream cone, which they're going to just drop things on the floor as they take him out. Oof.
That was such a disastrous fight around the Roche pit. They thought they were going to get that.
I mean, it's a great fight for Gorillaz.
It's a great fight for Gorillaz. Absolutely great. Because they dump all this stuff killing this Bat Rider, but he has Firefly still up already. He force staffs himself over the cliff. He barely gets off the BKBs. That last bit of magic damage doesn't affect him. And is just able to turn it around. And I mean, OD is just hitting so freaking hard now. He's got the Scythe ready to go for the Tinker. Tinker's going to be trying to defend this, but he's all by himself, and he's got to be really careful he doesn't just get gone on. All he can really do is what he's doing now. Just
we've seen some
rockets.
really just, yeah, I was about to say, we've seen some really great plays coming out from Chris Brown here on this OD, where he just jumps forward or forces himself forward, grabs the Tinker, and they just obliterate him. So, yeah, he's got to be very, very conscious about that.
I mean, the big power spike early game for most ODs is when they grab this Hurricane Blink combo. The mobility is just so... He's going to cancel that, yeah. So he's just doing it to see what to do. But he delayed that a lot. He opted instead to go for the drums for some stats, the BKB so that he can fight, which I 100% agree with. But now he's kind of getting back into that OD that we usually see with that Blink Hurricane, and he's just so mobile that Tinker can't really get away, and if he is getting away, he's spending all of his time getting away as opposed to dealing damage. Which lets Bloodseeker just run around and, you know, kill them all.
Yeah, Night Stalker just constantly keeping an eye out, wants to find that Tinker if possible, get him out of the way so they can go high ground with more ease. Of course, Age is still up and running over on Chris Brown on this OD, so it's pretty tanky.
She's on the Bat Rider.
Yeah, this is very, very scary right now for the side of Team South. Bat Rider, he jumps forward, he's looking. We'll get immediately Dagoned and blown up, though. Oh, disaster. But there's the follow-up. BKBs come out here. Abaddon up front and center. Takes out a lot of the health over here onto the OD using that blade mail. Moger in a lot of trouble here, too. Tries to run himself back. He's actually just going to barely make it out. About 200 health is that escape. And maybe just a little too excited coming out from this Bat Rider. I don't think the rest of the team was quite ready to follow him up and provide the support that he needed for that, because they were very, very prepared for him. My goodness.
I think if you're gonna do a play like that, you have to pop BKB before you jump. Like, you can't pop it afterwards. You just need to pop BKB, jump in.
Although they found themselves a tiny here. Oh, Chide's in a lot of trouble. The Hex comes out. BKB comes out as well. Gonna try to buy him a little bit more time here. Looks like the Sand King's gonna pay for this, though. He will get taken down. Does have buyback available. They'll chase after this Ancient Apparition. He's just frantically trying to run himself out. But again, Chris Brown, he's got the answer. He'll turn himself in. Here comes, oh boy, oh no. Tinker's trying to run himself away. Bat Rider comes in. They're trying to just put out as much damage, but these BKBs are just the solution here. And now Bloodseeker has to run himself back just a little bit here. We'll pop his Lincoln's Bandy. He's looking for him. Wu comes forward. He's stolen the Burrow Strike. Can he tune up? He will be able to connect over onto here. And it looks like the godlike Sexy Man coming out through will be able to clean up. And there's a full team wipe. And I guess they actually call GG. Is that the real GG? I'd assume it is. There's no buybacks.
I'm going to assume that Tiny was just a little frustrated, we'll say.
Oh, I don't know. But
before
anyways. All right, so pretty exciting stuff here. Gorillaz-Pride going to be able to take their first game off of Team South, which means we're going to Game 3, guys. So pretty excited. This grudge match is off to a great start. It's anyone's game, so we'll see who'll be able to keep going. We'll be back with game number 3. Stick around.